We're always grateful for the Zoom lady that reminds us that we're recording. I'm going to call the city council regular session to order with roll call.
Mayor Van Gordon.
Here.
Councilor Weber.
Here.
Councilor Moan.
Here.
Councilor Rodley.
Here.
Councilor Blackwell.
Here.
Councilor Doyle.
Here.
And Councilor Pictionary.
Here. Thank you. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. So we begin our meeting tonight. There are two designated times for public testimony this evening under business from the audience and public hearings. If you are attending in person, please complete the request to speak card located at the entrance of the council chambers and give it to the city recorder. If you are joining us online with a tablet, smartphone, or computer and wish to speak at either of those times, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom. The order of public testimony is as follows: anyone in person in the council chambers, and then anyone who's raised their virtual hand. First item, please.
Your first item under Springfield Upbeat is Mayor's Recognition. Item A is Earth Day Art Competition. Thomas Gray is here for this item.
Good evening, Council. This year, we once again had our annual Earth Day art competition. A bit of brief background on what the competition is. The Springfield Stormwater team began this contest as a way of doing stormwater education outreach. And it is now expanded to include the Metropolitan Wastewater Management Commission, which is our regional wastewater partnership. What we do is every year, we do outreach to all of the fourth grade classes in the Springfield Public Schools. We contact the teachers, let them know about the contest, and we make some Earth Day education materials available to them that teach the students about the local stormwater and wastewater systems and how those relate into the water system for the rest of the world. After those lessons, we give them a theme that they're able to create art from. This year, the theme was Our Water, Our Future. We bring the submissions back to City Hall. City staff vote on the top 20 submissions that we receive, and all of those move to the semifinalist category. The semifinalists are displayed out in the City Hall lobby. And this year, rather than a top 5, we had a top 6 due to a tie during the voting process. So we brought those top 6 to the mayor for his rankings. We felt that was the fairest way to give them all a shot. And we had a spare 6th place ribbon. So it just worked out for everybody. So we should have some slides of the artwork, and we're going to go ahead and get into our finalists. In 6th place, we have Daniela Ramos Alonso. And it looks like she was unable to be here tonight. In 5th place, we have Charlie Harrison. We're going to take some photos with the mayor with all of the winners here. Yes.
Official photo taking place. All right. We don't let many people back here.
You want that with your art or?
We'll come back. And struggle with the door, so.
2, 3, 4. Thank you.
We're gonna hang out here.
Yes.
We'll do a group photo.
All right. In 4th place, we have Molina Osgood.
Yeah.
In third place, we have Allie Edgerton. Yep. In second place, we have Camille Black Williams. I don't think she was able to be here tonight. In first place, our big winner, we have Maya Brandt.
Let's do one group photo.
Okay, where do you want us?
Maybe you in the middle and then you side.
Do you want me to move out of the way?
Uh,
If your parents want to come get.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, have them come up.
Yes.
All right, let me have a group photo here first and then you. All right, everybody, 1, 2, 3. Great job, thank you.
All right. Item, please.
Next item is Bike Month proclamation, and Drew Larson is here for this item.
Good evening, council, Mr. Mayor. I didn't realize that I was going to be speaking this evening.
Well, don't worry. I'm gonna do all the work here.
Perfect.
I think we've got two proclamations this evening, so I think to make life easier for everybody, I'm gonna read them both and then we'll come down and take the picture. This is the May's Bike Month proclamation. Whereas the bicycle is economical, healthy, convenient, and a form of transportation, and an excellent tool for enjoying Springfield's natural and scenic beauty. Whereas throughout the month of May, Springfield residents can experience the joy of biking and support the local economy by biking to nearby shopping and dining. Whereas creating a bicycle-friendly community has shown to improve citizens' health, well-being, and quality of life, grow the economy, improve traffic safety, support student learning outcomes, and reduce pollution. And whereas the city of Springfield and Safe Routes to School are promoting greater public awareness of biking and safety in an effort to improve health and safety, I, Sean Van Gordon, the mayor of Springfield, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Bike Month in Springfield, Oregon. And I challenge Springfield residents to get out and ride our regional pass or visit a bike-friendly business in this month. All right, we're going to do the building safety month. So whereas the city of Springfield is committed to recognizing that our growth and strength depends on the safety and essential roles of our homes, building, infrastructure, what they play in both everyday life when disasters strike. Whereas the modern building codes include safeguards to protect the public from hazards such as hurricanes, snowstorms, tornadoes, wildland fires, flood, and earthquakes. Whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown protectors and public safety are local code officials. Whereas Mission Possible is a theme of Building Month 2024, encouraging us all to raise awareness about building safety on the personal, local, and global scale. I, Sean Van Gordon, the mayor of Springfield, do hereby proclaim May as Building Safety Month in Springfield. Fix them up, depending on.
Yay for feedback.
I got the right one. Credit for. And I'm a nice short efficient one. No. Oh, man.
All right. All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Make sure everybody's in focus and no eye for close, that's always a good thing.
She obviously think.
Yeah.
Before.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Look at this.
Where's the Mission Possible?
Hey, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Much better. Thank you.
Steps or something. You know, baby ladder. Sorry. Okay. Next item, please.
Mayor, the next item is the consent calendar.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second,
Can you call the vote, Neil, please?
Counselor Weber,
yes.
Counselor Mo,
Yes.
Counselor Rodley,
Yes.
Counselor Blackwell,
Yes.
Counselor Doyle,
Yes.
and Counselor Pictionary.
Yes, thank you.
Motion passes 6 yeses, 0 nos. Next item, please.
The next item is public hearings. You have one public hearing this evening. It's the wastewater and stormwater user fees fiscal year 2024 through 2025. This is resolution number 1, a resolution of the city of Springfield setting local and regional wastewater sewer user fees and local stormwater drainage user fees as set forth in the Springfield Municipal Code. And Matt Stouter is here for this item.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good to see you again. As you know, each year council considers user fees for regional and local wastewater as well as local stormwater services. On April 22nd, we held a work session with the council, discussed options for consideration of those rates. And we took the feedback from that meeting and incorporated that into the public hearing for tonight. If approved, the proposed 24-25 user fees will provide adequate revenue for us to continue to operate and maintain our systems, deliver reliable services and programs to our community, fund our adopted capital improvement program, meet our environmental and regulatory requirements, help delay the need for future financing, and ensure the continued protection of our public health and local environment. The user fees before council this evening include, for public hearing, include a local stormwater increase of 3%, or for the typical user, about 49 cents a month. A local wastewater increase of 5% for the typical user, that's about $1.33 a month. And then the regional wastewater increase was a 5.5%. That was set by the MWMC on a public hearing on April 12th. And that's contained in the MWMC's budget, and that's about $1.66 a month. So at this time, staff requests that the council hold the public hearing and then consider adoption of a resolution establishing user fees that will go into effect July 1st, 2024.
Are there any questions? Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. I don't have any cards for this item. Neil, do we have anybody online?
No hands for this item.
I'm going to close the public hearing.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number one, a resolution of the city of Springfield setting local and regional wastewater user fees and local stormwater user fees as set forth in the Springfield Municipal Code.
Second.
Neil, could you call the vote, please?
Yes, Counselor Weber,
Yes.
Counselor Mo,
Yes.
Counselor Rodley,
Yes.
Counselor Blackwell,
Yes.
Counselor Doyle,
Aye.
and Counselor Pictionary.
Yes, thank you.
Motion passes 6 yeses, 0 nos. Next item, please.
Next item is business from the audience.
I've got one card this evening. Jeff Nelson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. It's great to see you. Want to start with some gratitude. One of the last times I was here, there was a discussion about a gate. Want to let you know that gate is installed. So we are appreciative of all the work that city staff did to help make that a success. So thank you so much. I also wanted to highlight that while the city and sub have different missions, the best Springfield is a Springfield where sub and the city are working together and achieving our missions to be the best that we can be. So along those lines, I want to talk about a few things in the future about how sub is paying attention to what the city's priorities are. But tonight I want to talk about one particular priority, and that is the Glenwood development. And that's identified as a priority for this by the city for a number of years. So you recall that around the turn of the century, it sounds like a long time ago, at turn of the century, sub took over electric and water service, formerly served by Eugene Water and Electric Board in the Glenwood area after Glenwood voted to become part of Springfield. And so since that time, sub has invested tens of millions of dollars in the infrastructure for water and electric in the Glenwood area to achieve the city's vision. And part of that vision includes a number of things, including the realignment of sub's backbone off of Franklin Boulevard. So the overhead line over time, as the city progresses on the Franklin Boulevard development, that overhead line will move to the south. So you will have that visual corridor that you're looking for. We're also taking investments for a new electric substation. Again, that's to provide all of the full potential of the vision that the city council has looked towards in terms of the full potential of the Glenwood area. So those are just a few highlights I wanted to give you. And I'll come forward in the future to let you know about some other priorities that we're paying attention that the city has. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. I don't have any other cards. Neil, is there anybody online that would like to testify?
I'm not seeing any hands at this time.
All right, any council response? Joe?
Thank you for getting back to us on that gate, because that was quite a project, and I'm really happy that it's resolved now, I think, to the satisfaction of everyone. So that's good. Thank you.
Cory?
Yeah, thank you. And I also want to thank Jeff Nelson for coming and sharing that update and talking about the city priorities. I think that there's also room for us to learn more about what the sub priorities are, because I think, like you said, Springfield is better when we're all strong together. And so it's helpful to know what everybody's working on and how we can get that all going in the right direction. So I appreciate you coming and sharing, and I'm looking forward to more of that sharing and collaboration moving forward. Thank you.
Steve?
I'm glad to see the progression in Glenwood, slow as it is. I've seen it evolve from Mountain States Power to E-Web to sub. Sub's my preference, I assure you. So thank you.
Michelle?
I just want to thank you, Jeff, for coming and sharing those comments and updates and for your wanting to work together for a better relationship in city. So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I too appreciate that. I do though hope that that's a sentiment that's felt by your board because it certainly didn't seem that way when I was listening to the last retreat that you guys had. It seemed very adversarial and that was unfortunate. And it was, so I appreciate what you've said. And I, again, hope that that's gonna carry through with the staff that you work with. So.
Beth?
I'll just jump into and say thank you for the gate update. I appreciate that so much. And also just coming here and just giving us an update and talking to us about working together, because I too feel like if we all collaborate and work together, we're all Springfield citizens, and we all are, you know, if we work together, we're all going to achieve something that we all are desiring. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna echo a couple of things that were said. Thanks for coming. I actually think more information about where you guys are working in Glenwood would help us all. And just sharing additional information, I think is gonna go a long way to just opening the lines of communication between us and sub HQ. Thanks for coming, Jeff. Next item.
Next item is any business from the city council.
Is there any other business from the city council? Corey?
Because last time I waited till the end and we forgot. I appreciated all the announcements tonight. And I just want to say that this is also a week to appreciate teachers and nurses, two professions that we lean on all the time. And many folks know I'm like the proud parent of a high school math teacher. So appreciate your teachers and nurses. And that's it.
Anybody else? I think, Corey, you just bring up a really good point. We're gonna start through May, which is basically Appreciate Everybody Month. So I look forward to a lot of proclamations, a lot of pictures, but also just continuing to talk, think about as a council, taking advantages of those opportunities to recognize different people in different professions, because we'll go through public works, there's some PD and fire recognitions this month, and there's just a lot going on and everybody wants to get it done in May. Go ahead.
Just a quick comment. Thank you. I also would like to point out that I am privileged to work with a group of volunteers. You're looking at us. And these people are some really good folks. They have the heart of Springfield, deep-seated, and I wanted to appreciate these volunteers. Thank you.
Next item, please.
The next item is business from the city manager. You have several items under this heading. Item number 1 is housing diversity tax exemption. This is both an ordinance and a resolution. Ordinance number 1 is an ordinance adopting Springfield Municipal Code, section 3.550 through 3.558, to enact a property tax exemption for multi-unit housing, to increase housing diversity, adopting a severability clause, and providing an effective date. The resolution is resolution number 2, a resolution adopting program guidelines for the housing diversity tax exemption to implement Springfield Municipal Code sections 3.550 through 3.558. And Katie Carroll is here for this item.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Katie Carroll. I'm the city's housing analyst. As Neil mentioned, this item for your consideration tonight is an ordinance and a resolution that would adopt the Housing Diversity Tax Exemption, or HDTE. The HDTE program is intended to incentivize development of multiple unit housing in transit served and core areas of Springfield by exempting some property taxes for the first 10 years of qualifying projects, hopefully allowing more of those projects to pencil than would without the exemption, and seeing more housing built. The council has been talking about adopting this incentive since 2017. In March, on March 4th, you had a public hearing that's part of the required process for adopting this, as well as a first reading. There was public testimony at that hearing, and based on that, the council directed staff to come back with more information about including parking and commercial space in the tax exemption program. So then on April 15th, you had a work session to talk about that, as well as a second reading. On April 15th, the council directed staff to include parking for residents in the tax exemption program. As a reminder, we cannot, per the state statute, exempt parking that is for exclusive use of commercial tenants. Council also asked staff to clean up the language in the program guidelines around that parking exemption to make it a little bit clearer. So we worked with city attorney's office between the last reading and now, and that's reflected in your packet. The council also directed staff to include commercial space that's part of a mixed-use building in the tax exemption when it's found to be a public benefit. And then finally, you directed us to remove language from the adopting ordinance that would have repealed the vertical housing tax exemption, and the council is going to look at that separately at a later date. And with that, that's all I have. Any questions?
Any questions? Victoria?
Yeah, I just had a really quick question. I had someone that's on the Springfield School District board reach out to me and said that this was brought up to them and was wanting to get information from me, and they seemed kind of surprised when I said we were possibly going to be voting on this tonight. So is there some reason that we're wanting buy-in from the school district?
Yes. So as part of having this tax exemption apply to not just the city share of taxes, but to the full tax amount, after the council adopts it, then we would need to go ask other taxing districts till we get to that 51% to support it. And so I am going to the Springfield School District next Monday, actually, just to give them like an informational presentation. So I think that's what prompted that. We have been in contact with their staff since last summer, so they've known it's coming. Yeah.
Any other questions? Jill? All right. We're ready for you, Jill.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 1, an ordinance adopting Springfield Municipal Code sections 3.550 through 3.558 to enact a property tax exemption for multiple unit housing to increase housing diversity, adopting a severability clause and providing an effective date.
I will second that.
Neil, could you call the vote, please?
Yes, Counselor Weber,
Yes.
Counselor Mo,
Yes.
Counselor Rodley,
Yes.
Counselor Blackwell,
Yes.
Counselor Doyle,
Aye.
and Counselor Pictionary.
Yes, thank you.
Motion passes 6 yeses, 0 no's, and
I'd like to make another motion. Motion to adopt resolution number 2, a resolution adopting program guidelines for the housing diversity tax exemption to implement Springfield Municipal Code sections 3.550 through 3.558.
Second.
Neil, could you call the vote, please?
Yes, Counselor Weber.
Yes.
Counselor Mo,
Yes.
Counselor Rodley,
Yes.
Counselor Blackwell,
Yes.
Counselor Doyle,
Aye.
and Counselor Pictionary.
Yes, thank you.
Motion passes 6 yeses, 0 no's. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Katie, this was a lot of hard work to get us this far, and we appreciate it. We got it done. Next item, please.
Next item is ratification of the Metropolitan Wastewater Management Commission, MWMC, fiscal year 2024 through 2025 Regional Wastewater Program Budget and Capital Improvements Program, or the CIP. And Matt Stouter is here for this item.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. Matt Stouter. I'm here as in my capacity as the Executive Officer for the MWMC tonight. We're here to ask that you ratify the MWMC's Regional Wastewater Program Budget and CIP. Believe it or not, I have some abbreviated talking points. It'll be about 5 minutes. So much of the detail that I have for the budget was in a presentation that we shared through our budget department or our budget committee presentation that you may have viewed already. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. So with that, our MWMC IGA provides that the governing bodies of Eugene, Springfield, and Lane County ratify our annual MWMC budget and CIP. On April 12th, our commission approved the regional budget and CIP and directed staff to forward that budget to the governing bodies. They did hold 3 work sessions and a public hearing prior to taking action. And that budget includes the rate adjustment of 5.5% we talked about earlier. In accordance with our IGA, Eugene provides the operations and maintenance for all of our regional facilities, and Springfield provides for the administrative services, including planning, capital project construction, budget management of our permit, etc. The regional budget provides for the NWMC to provide service for approximately 250,000 community members in our service area. It implements the commission's key outcomes that drive our work, allows us to deliver our large value CIP program, and then respond to regulatory permit requirements, as well as continuing to ensure the public health and safety of our community. Okay, a few numbers. The approved FY 24-25 operating budget is set at $25.3 million. It does contain a 5.9% increase over fiscal year 23-24. It includes a 2.98 FTE increase. 0.08 of that is on the Springfield side and 2.18 is on Eugene. Overall, there's a 6.4% increase in personnel services. That includes health insurance, PERS, regular wages, benefits, et cetera. Our M&S budget is up 8.2%. That chiefly is driven by indirect costs, chemical costs for our plant, and the other utility costs. Our SDC revenues are on target, and we are collecting revenue from our renewable natural gas project. We've received about $3.5 million to date, and we're averaging approximately $190,000 a month. That fluctuates given the market. Our fiscal year 24-25 capital budget is $73.2 million. Those projects are large. They span multiple years. And the majority of the projects are for plant performance improvements. So we have a major electrical switchgear project we're working on. We have a 20-year facilities plan that we're embarking on that's going to set the planning horizon for us for the next 20 years. We're upgrading our administrative building, and we have a large amount of equipment replacement and major rehab as our plant and our infrastructure ages. I would note, I didn't have this in my notes, but I would note that we just learned today that we are set to receive a $4 million federal grant for our Class A recycled water project, and I'm really excited about that. That's through the Bureau of Reclamation, and we've been working really hard to secure grant funding on that project. So I'll wrap up here. Our budget must be approved by Lane County, Eugene, and Springfield prior to us returning to the commission for adoption. Eugene is scheduled to ratify on Monday, May 9th. We'll be at the Board of County Commissioners on Tuesday, May 14th, and then we'll be back to the commission on June 14th. So with that, I would request that council consider ratifying the 24-25 Regional Wastewater Program budget and CIP, and I'm available for any questions you might have.
Are there any questions?
Go ahead. Just a quick comment. Matt, I've been on the MWMC commission for quite a while. And you mentioned just briefly the renewable natural gas program we have in place at MWMC, in that it resulted in proceeds of 3.1 million.
3.5 since it came online.
And so that cost of the equipment was about how much? Was it 17?
It was about 14 million. Yeah.
And so I'm looking at that, and it's been online for a couple of years now. And so the return on an investment is phenomenal, and it goes right back to directly helping the ratepayers in this region to help reduce or to keep rates from climbing at such a high rate. So I commend that commission and your work on something that's renewable, otherwise would have been off-gassed into the environment, and we're saving it and reselling it. So that's really understated program and needs a ton of recognition. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just going to add to that before Joe makes the motion. The first year I was on council when I toured the sewer plant, so it's been a minute, that same gas was being spritzed out onto an open flame and just ignited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still have that as a backup option. There's a variety of safety reasons for that, but yeah, that's just money going up in the air.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a substantial improvement. Yep. Joe?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ratifying the fiscal year 2024-2025 Regional Wastewater Program Budget and Capital Improvement Program CIP.
Second.
Joel, could you call the vote, please?
Yes, Counselor Weber,
Yes.
Counselor Mo,
Yes.
Counselor Rodley,
Yes.
Counselor Blackwell,
Yes.
Counselor Doyle,
Aye.
and Counselor Pictionary.
Yes, thank you.
Motion passes 6 yeses, 0 nos. Next item, please.
Next item is the fiscal year 2025 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG Annual Action Plan. Aaron Fifield is here for this item.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm here tonight with the fiscal year 2025 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan for your approval. As you recall, the city receives annual allocation of Community Development Block Grant CDBG funds every year to address the needs of low-income persons in Springfield. This year's action plan has gone through a public process such that there's a 30-day public comment period that was held. There have been 2 public hearings held by the Springfield Community Development Advisory Committee. We took their recommendation back to you on April 22nd, and the action plan in your packet is from your recommendation on the work session. Just a few highlights. We're estimated to receive $555,345 this next year. I'll emphasize again, that is an estimate because HUD has still not given us our allocation for a July 1 start. We have in your packet a proposed funding adjustment that we discussed during work session. So if that number does change, but we don't anticipate it to change much. So highlights for how we're proposing to, which strategies we're proposing to fund this next year include funding the city's home repair program. This is to rehab existing housing of very low income homeowners here in Springfield. Funding is allocated for the SHOP program for homeownership assistance to support low-income homebuyers. Funding is included to support Lane County and their human service delivery system. And then finally, funding to support the grant planning and administration of the grant itself. So that's reflected in your packet. That's what I got.
Any questions? Victoria?
I can't remember, but we discussed the addressing the causes of slum and blight and that being somehow put into this. And I don't remember where the conversation went with that. Do you recall?
I have come here for a few different,
Okay.
for what that's worth.
I'm getting confused.
For a substantial amendment for the funds that were previously allocated to Catholic Community Services, I think there was mention of improving neighborhoods.
That's what it was.
As a possible strategy.
Cool.
Which
I just couldn't remember.
we'll come back to you again, but isn't included here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got just confused just a second ago. So I remember the conversation we had in regards to funding pre-existing housing projects that were funded by CBDG earlier, as opposed to spending additional monies on new projects. And I'm trying to figure out if that's any part of this project. There's so many different.
I
things
know.
here.
So yeah, these different funding streams require each this formal process to recognize each one. So a previous conversation had to do with reallocating prior year funds that were not moving forward. Wasn't for housing, but for helping support a day shelter that just wasn't ready to proceed despite the funding needing to be spent or be taken back by HUD. So that conversation, I received direction from council to reallocate those funds, which is started the public process. So we're in a 30-day public comment period to look at how those funds could be reallocated right now. And then that'll come back to the Community Development Advisory Committee for a public hearing. They'll make a recommendation and it'll come back to council before recess. Part of that direction from council said, hey, we're interested in improving neighborhoods. And so part of a staff, I'm going to go talk with respective staff about, is it possible, are there infrastructure projects that could be completed within the next year, or is that a longer term strategy? We'll need another way to approach.
And I remember part of it that was actually on part of a chart that indicated there would be some money at some point, and I don't know if it's this point, in regards to going back and refreshing or refurbishing pre-existing structures that were funded previously. And we spoke about a support for that, so that way we don't have a neighborhood that's kind of old and blighted and continue to get worse.
Sorry, that was another point that council made, to your point, recognizing existing low-income housing developments that perhaps are over 20 years old and needed additional, right? So part of that 30-day public comment period is me going to see, is that need, not just is the need there, but can a project be completed within the next year that would address that need? So the goal for the public hearing being to discuss those different pieces to see what is possible, and then have the CDAC take all that information, have a discussion, and make a recommendation back to council. But yes, it's not reflected here, but it is in a different funding conversation.
Just a different silo at this point, and then, okay. I
Yeah.
just didn't want to have that
But
dying
the
vine.
same kind of funds,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
All right, you're up.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2025 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan with proposed funding adjustments if the final allocation changes, and authorize the city manager to execute all documents needed to give effect to the city's agreement with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for these funds.
Second.
Neil, could you call the vote, please?
Yes, Counselor Weber,
Yes.
Counselor Mo,
Yes.
Counselor Rodley,
Yes.
Counselor Blackwell,
Yes.
Counselor Doyle,
Aye.
and Counselor Pictionary.
Yes, thank you.
Motion passes, 6 yeses, 0 nos. Next item, please.
Next item is acceptance of project P21151 Centennial Boulevard Overlay Aspen to Prescott. This is resolution number 3, a resolution to accept city bond project P21151 Centennial Boulevard Overlay Aspen to Prescott. And Christy Kruger is here for this item.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Christy Kruger, the Capital Engineering Manager. I'm very excited to be here tonight as we have officially completed our $10 million bond package. The Centennial Boulevard Overlay Project was the last project on the list, and we completed the construction last year. Our capital engineering team worked very hard to complete these projects well ahead of schedule and within budget. So I believe we have some before and after pictures of Centennial Boulevard. You can see what state it was in before and the great job that the contractor and team did after. So I am here tonight to ask for acceptance of the final bond package project.
Do you have a comment? Are you ready for?
I'm ready.
Well, let's slow your roll a little bit. Victoria.
So first off, yay. I was on the budget committee when we started this back in 2018. I'm super excited, and I hope that the voters will remember that when the new bond measure is coming out. I also want to remind people that they may not see it on the front of their ballot, but they need to flip that ballot over because it has gotten lost on several ballots that I've seen. It's just like a very tiny thing on the back of a ballot. So please look for that. Please continue to support our roads and our infrastructure in Springfield, because it is really the heart of what makes all the rest of this, trying to bring businesses here and have people stay. So, and great job. Your team did an awesome job. I'm very, very proud to be a part of it. Thank you.
Corey.
Thank you. I drive this practically every day back and forth to work. And it's beautiful and it's safer, which I think is a big piece of what has happened. It's really clear to see where things are. And when I'm going to and fro, particularly too, there's city buses, there's school buses, and it's so much better shape. So thank you. And being in Ward 3, we were definitely the benefit of much of the work along the Mohawk and Olympic and yeah, so just thank you very much. It's beautiful. And I'm looking forward to our next big projects because we've got a lot to do. Thanks.
Yeah, I was pretty excited to see this one on the list as well. And, the amount of work that we've done since 2018, including getting Mill Street done, including putting 42nd Street done, out for bid. Really, to build the public's trust, it means we have to deliver. And especially with this bond measure, you guys did a great job delivering. So I'm really excited that we're done. I'm really hopeful and glad that we're all out here talking to the public, at least on this side, about about what the benefits of continuing to invest in our roads are, but give your group a high five. They really deserve it.
Thank you.
You're up.
I'd like to make, excuse me, clear my throat. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the resolution to accept city bond project P 21151 Centennial Boulevard overlay to Aspen Prescott area.
Second,
Neil, could you call the vote, please?
Yes, Counselor Weber.
Yes.
Counselor Mo.
Yes.
Counselor Rodley.
yes.
Counselor Blackwell.
Yes.
Counselor Doyle.
Aye.
And Counselor Pictionary.
Yes, thank you.
Motion passes, 6 yeses, 0 nos. Next item, please.
Any other business from the city manager?
No other business, thank you.
Business from the city attorney. We have one item. It was written correctly and turned in as a consent item. You've already approved it, but we inadvertently included it twice. So it's here as well.
So we've already passed it.
Yes, sir.
We've been really effective tonight, and we did all the items before they were called.
Any other business from the city attorney?
No other business, thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. We are adjourned.